several Lancaster County communities are finding dead birds.
Unusual. It's a significant event.
Most of the birds have been young robins or sparrows. He collected about 400 in all. Deadly flash flood in northern Italy. 4 people were killed and around 20 injured when a violent downpour swept through a summer festival. Eyewitnesses told local media that the deluge, which caused dozens of mudslides, was so strong that people were grabbing onto trees to save themselves from being swept away.
At least 8 people have died in a huge landslide in Nepal. The death toll could rise further as attempts are made to rescue people from homes. More than 40 people have already been injured and several are missing after the landslide and flooding caused by days of torrential rainfall.
Quake struck the mountainous region of Yunnan province. More than 40,000 homes were damaged or destroyed.
Thousands of rescuers are involved in this search.
Tornado touchdown in Clark County yesterday.
This is extremely rare.
I know, it seems hard to believe.
Powerful deluge tearing through Southern California, a wall of water that triggered mudslides.
More than 4 inches of rain pounding Southern California in under 3 hours.
I've never seen anything like it.
The only way into town blocked by boulders the size of cars.
It sounds like a freight train. We ran for our lives.
Meanwhile, across the state, 17 wildfires have scorched some 150,000 acres.
Tens of thousands of feet above the ground. Smoke from wildfires burning from Oregon, Washington, California. There are a number of fires not only in the west, but also in the southeastern U.S. The size of the wildfires increasing. In recent decades, 8 of the top 10 worst wildfire seasons in the U.S. have been since the turn of the century. The 5 worst since 2005.
Massive landslide in North Salt Lake this morning destroys 1 house and threatens an entire neighborhood.
At least 27 homes so far have been evacuated.
Hawaii braces for 2 hurricanes in the Pacific Ocean, but they first dealt with an earthquake today.
Hawaii took its first direct hit from a tropical storm in 22 years. A cell hit the Big Island with a foot of rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds that knocked down trees and power lines. The storm surge brought 25-foot waves.
At exactly 12 on Tuesday, South Africa shook. CCTV footage from a Johannesburg restaurant went viral. South Africa's biggest earthquake in 40 years.
second time in 3 months. The small farming community was almost completely wiped off the map in May by torrents of water and mud destroying everything in its path. Many in the small farming village are angry because there's been no sign of help or funding from the authorities in Sarajevo.
Massive mudslide has left more than 500 vehicles and over 1,000 people stranded.
9 people were killed in floodwaters when Typhoon Halong dumped nearly 40 inches of rain in 1 hour.
Storm that has started as a hurricane come across the Atlantic and is now dumping huge amounts of rain on us here.
Water levels on the River Lossy and the Spey reached new record heights. Hurricane Bertha exacts her revenge on the northeast of Scotland.
Literally pulled from her car as that vehicle was sinking into the hole.
She put down the driver's side window and I pulled her out, and then within 5 minutes the whole car was gone.
Massive flooding hitting so fast drivers were trapped today. Highways around Baltimore shut down. And it's not just the east tonight in Phoenix. Let's take a closer look at that moment there. The driver jumping from a car to a fire truck to escape the rushing waters there.
This is not what you expect to see at your local strip mall. A sinkhole opening up after extreme flooding here. So many people across this nation feeling Mother Nature's fury.
Flash flood chaos across the Northeast. In New York, a state of emergency. 13 inches of rain in just hours, setting a new record for the entire state. In Babylon, New York, even the fire chief is pumping out 3 feet of water from his basement.
This has never been this high before, not even during Sandy.
In Michigan, where highways turned to rivers, some major roadways were still closed, caked with mud. In North Carolina, flooding, power outages, downed trees, and water rescues after severe storm. The system flooding the east got its start in the Midwest, and here's what it did to Good Samaritan Hospital in Kearney, Nebraska. The images coming out tonight, the hospital's dining room flooded after 9 feet of water crashed through the windows.
Monsoon rains in the west. In Phoenix, winds strong enough to knock over a row of tractor trailers.
I mean, it's flooded everywhere. Crazy flooding.
Flash flooding swept over roads in Arizona and Nevada. If you think it's been raining heavier lately, torrential downpours all across the country. A whopping 71% increase in the Northeast. In Colorado Springs, an 1.5 inches of rain fell in just 30 minutes.
On Jim Hoffman's pasture near Harrington were hit by lightning, killing them instantly. Hoffman says that he's been ranching for decades. He's never seen anything like it.
Take a look at new video of those mysterious holes on Mount Baldy.
Wow. So far, scientists have found 6 of them, including the one that 6-year-old Nathan Weisner fell in last July.
Residents in a Boulder City neighborhood capture a mudslide as cars tried to navigate through a river of rocks and flowing water. Rain came down so fast it caused the hillside to come down with it.
Take a look at this. Some leaves already changing on the trees. This is the middle of August. Marlene wanted to know if this was normal, and no, it's not. I mean, even with cool weather, normally you've got to wait until You have the shorter daytime.
The polar vortex is actually still haunting one Canadian city. Officials in Winnipeg, Canada have a snow problem. There is still a 60-foot dirt-covered snow mountain, and they're worried it won't melt by the time it starts snowing again.
A train derailment in Switzerland. The carriages came off the line after a landslide which buried the tracks on a mountainside near the St. Moritz resort.
Where the rains continue to create havoc. At least 27 people have been reportedly killed in different incidents of landslide, cloudbursts and flooding across the state in the last 48 hours. 7 people were killed in Dehradun's Rajpur area after heavy rains triggered landslides. Meanwhile, 20 people were killed in cloudbursts at 4 places in Uttarakhnd's Pori district on Friday.
Incessant rains there are making rescue operations all the more difficult, but these are some dramatic visuals that are coming in from the Kotdwar district of Uttarakhand. Not just the flash floods there, but also landslides that have damaged.
It's not the best of times for residents of Ondo town and Ileoluji, both in Ondo state, who have been battling with floods as a result of persistent rainfall.
Giles of Encinitas Lifeguard says this thunderstorm stood out.
It sounded like a large bomb going off, and you could feel the percussion of it. I don't think we've ever had this much active lightning come on shore during the summertime.
Landslides in northern India and Nepal have left at least 180 people dead. Thousands more have been marooned in villages here in Uttar Pradesh state, where water from overflowing dams in neighbouring Nepal has added to the impact of heavy rain in the Himalayas.
Rain-triggered floods impacted more than 450,000 people in East China's Zhejiang province. The city of Lishui was the worst hit by the rainstorm, which had been going on since last Saturday.
Floodwaters in parts of central Sweden are said by emergency workers to be at catastrophic levels. Worst hit has been Farmland County in the city of Kristinehamn.
of heavy rain on parts of the Midwest early this morning. Dozens were stranded when roads in and around Chicago submerged. In Indiana, those flooded roads also made it difficult for firefighters to get to a burning building. Flooding is not just a problem in the Midwest. From upstate New York to western Pennsylvania, creeks unexpectedly overflowed into homes. Across the country in Washington state, heavy rains triggered mudslides, which blocked highways, stranding some motorists overnight. In Arizona and Southern California, it was the lack of moisture and strong wind that created a blinding dust storm. Earlier this week, the Phoenix area was hit hard by stormy weather, resulting in flash floods and costly damage.
Shattering moment caught on surveillance video, shaking people out of bed and rocking cars and buildings. These store shelves thrashed around before the power goes out. The monster 6.0 quake, the worst to hit the Bay Area in 25 years. Fires rage in the scenic tourist town of Napa. More than a dozen buildings in the historic downtown ravaged. Shattered glass, cars buried in brick, and roads ripped wide open. The control tower windows at Napa County Airport completely blown out. More than 200 people were taken to local hospitals.
After this morning's earthquake in Napa, California, concerns tonight about another earthquake, a magnitude 7.0 earthquake that struck just a short time ago in Peru, causing some to wonder if those two quakes are connected.
Off the eastern coast of the United States, deep in the Atlantic Ocean, researchers have discovered hundreds of vents that they think are leaking methane gas. The study found 570 gas vents that were identified stretching between the states of North Carolina and Massachusetts.
Recently, there have been abnormally high concentrations of methane over the Beaufort Sea and the East Siberian Sea. Swedish and Russian scientists also measured high methane amounts in the water around the Laptev Sea in the Arctic due to methane clathrate eruptions.
Wildfires in Siberia, OMG, those are unprecedented. The epic Canada fires, British Columbia, the smoke is so bad it is reaching Greenland. The Russian fires in places that you would never believe would burn, and now they're burning.
When the Dalton family turned the spigot to fire up some sprinklers, it lowered the level of an irrigation pond. Gary Dalton noticed something just beneath the surface, concentric circles about 25 feet across. The inner circle looks like something erupted from beneath. The outer ring is a depression filled with algae.
You ever seen anything like it in all your years of fire?
No. Obviously something came up and created this ring, but then it collapsed back on itself and it's closed off the vent. Whatever the vent was is closed.
Iceland continues to prepare this morning for a possible volcano eruption. The volcano, buried deep under one of Europe's largest glaciers, is rumbling to life. Since August 16th, more than 3,000 tremors per minute have led to more than 2,600 earthquakes.
Just this morning, a 5.7 earthquake rumbled across the glacier.
This morning, and there she blows. It's something you see every day, is it? Pretty spectacular.
Ebola continues to ravage communities in 4 West African countries, with well over 3,000 cases now reported. The deadly epidemic may have already infected 2 to 3 times that many people, and could potentially infect over 20,000 people before the outbreak is contained.
In Changwon, Southeast Korea, a city bus is swept away in flash floods caused by heavy rain. At least one person was killed in this incident. This is just one of the unfortunate effects of the record rain that drenched southeastern Korea on Monday, measuring up to 130 millimeters per hour. The torrential rains hit Korea's port city of Busan, nearby regions in Gyeongsangnam-do province, causing landslides, flooding cars and houses, and halting rail services and flights in and out of Kimhae Airport.
died and 21 others were missing after a landslide hit a village in southwestern China. The official Xinhua news agency said 77 houses collapsed or were buried in the landslide Wednesday night in the village of Yingping in the Jizhou province.
washing away records in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where it got nearly 8 inches in a day.
Tonight, millions of Americans in the Southeast are cleaning up after devastating floods damaged homes and cars. In Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, heavy rains triggering flash flooding.
Tropical storm Marie has hammered western shores for 3 days. Piers ripped apart, sailboats tossed ashore. Just off the beach, floodwaters have buckled floors and submerged living rooms. Now the East Coast is being hammered too. Rough surf and riptides from Hurricane Cristobal has claimed at least 7 lives.